joining us now is Labour's campaign coordinator, Shabana Mahmood. Let's start with the areas of triumph, shall we, Shabana? And Barnet, of course, that we're seeing there is one of them. But, of course, there are other losses around the country that aren't so strong as your symbolic wins in London.
Thanks very much, Kay. Look, we've had a strong performance overnight from the early results that have come in. We've been able to show real progress, as you've said, in Barnet, where obviously it's a particularly strong result for us given the relationship between the Labour Party and the British Jewish community. So it's a particular pleasure to see that Jewish voters feel confident putting their trust in the Labour Party again in a place such as Barnet. We've obviously made huge gains in London, in Wandsworth and in Westminster as well. That will be giving Boris Johnson some sleepless nights. And across the rest of the country, from the early results that we're seeing in England, this is a real turning point election for us because we are able to show real progress on the 2019 general election result. That was our worst general election result since 1935. The Labour Party went down to an almost near-death experience in that general election. And what we've seen with last night's results, whether that's taking key local authorities off the Conservatives in Southampton, taking the newly formed Cumberland local authority, taking other seats as well, we're able to show a breadth of progress across England that shows real headway being made under Keir's leadership, which is a solid foundation and a base for us to build on as we look ahead to the next general election.
Well done for getting all that out without drawing to pause breath. That is obviously your mission, and it's a strong picture you're painting. You say it will have given Sir Boris Johnson's supporters a chance for some sleepless nights. Of course, we've had those on this morning, and they don't see it that way. What they see it is maybe in some areas, and we've heard from some Tory councillors who've lost their seats, that there is some love lost to Boris Johnson, but it hasn't gone to Sir Keir Starmer particularly and the Labour Party. And yes, London's been very successful, but key areas right across the country, which you need to win a general election, have a best held, and in some cases, even when they've held, have lost seats and the margin's gone down.
Well, look, I don't accept the analysis that suggests we're not making progress on the areas we need to win for that next general election. So if you look at what's happening in terms of the popular vote, the aggregate vote share, as it's known, in some of these local authority areas, you overlay that against the parliamentary constituencies that the Labour Party has to win back at the next general election if we are to form a majority Labour government, then actually we would be winning parliamentary constituencies based on these results in places like Workington, we'd be winning Carlisle, we'd be winning Great Grimsby, Lee, we'd be winning seats in Wolverhampton, in West Bromwich. We will be winning parliamentary constituencies that currently have Conservative MPs who are going to be worried about what these results suggest is going to happen at that next general election, because on the popular vote, on the aggregate vote share, these seats will be returning Labour MPs based on what we saw last night. So that is the basis on which we know we are making progress ahead of that next general election.
We don't have a lot of time, Shabana. Apologies for interrupting. I'm not sure if you were on the line at the time when our correspondent Katie Rickett was in Bolton this morning. That was the seat, a council that Labour expected to take back control of. Real disappointment that didn't happen strictly. And one of the councillors, Labour councillors, said there to Katie when she was talking to him was, we spent too long telling them not to vote for the Tories and we didn't give them enough reasons to vote for Labour. And that's come from a councillor on the ground, that they don't feel like there's enough policy, there's enough standing, there's enough reason to vote for Labour. That's got to be a worry when you hear something like that from the ground there.
Well, look, I'm sorry that we didn't see more progress in Bolton and for the Labour candidates in that area. But I do disagree with what that councillor has said, because actually Keir Starmer, the whole of the Labour Party, we've been taking the fight to the Tories on the cost of living crisis. That is the number one issue that is facing the country. That is the thing that every voter, every household across the country is worried about. And that has been the whole front and centre of our campaign. And not only have we been saying where the Tories are going wrong, but we have offered a proper proper alternative, other choices that we would make, such as a windfall tax on the oil and gas companies, the money that we would then use to take money off everybody's electricity and energy bills. So we have a clear, positive alternative that we've been taking to voters, and that has been getting us a hearing in large parts of the country. Obviously, we have more work to do. I'm not saying here that it's job done for us. We're on course to win the next general election. We have more work to do. We're coming back from a historical low of 2019. Last night was a good, positive set of results for us, but there is more for us to do.
Shabana, good to speak to you this morning. We are going to be hearing, hopefully, from Sir Keir Starmer, your leader himself, when he makes an appearance in the seat of Barnet. But good to speak to you so far.